tonight
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
on Evening.
There's no lacrosse without native lacrosse.
Meet a man on a mission to reconnect Native youth with an ancient sport. A taste of Italy from a food truck,
Io de carbonara, signore.
where you can experience this authentic cuisine. Plus, get a preview of the live-action film, How to Train Your Dragon.
Everything we know about dragons is wrong.
Welcome to the show from South Lake Union in Seattle. I'm St. Brian aboard Air Snipe, which spent World War II hunting down enemy submarines and is now in semi-retirement as a museum ship. Imagine getting something like this for free. That's what happened to Matt Levy and his wife Kelly Tinas, who have made fixing up historic vessels their life's work. Matt especially likes working on engines.
I like the dance that's involved in operating the vessel. The original switchboard from 1943 is still here, so getting the generator up and actually being online is a process. It's almost like a mechanical flow chart that you have to go through, and it's a lot of fun to just operate the thing.
Air Snipe is one of 5 World War II submarine chasers still afloat. Back in the day, heavily armed, like this subchaser, she served in Alaska's Aleutian Islands and the South Pacific with 27 sailors aboard. 27 sailors that needed to be fed in the galley, where some slept. Officers' quarters were a bit better.
Where the captain, the XO, and the chief engineer would have stayed.
After the war, Air Snipe was a Coast Guard cutter. Then she provided barge service between Seattle and Southeast Alaska. When Ketchikan owner Kent Halverson passed away in 2023, his family donated the ship, and Matt and Kelly have been taking care of her ever since.
A lot of people are just amazed that this type of vessel is even still around, and especially given the condition that it's in. Our plan is just to share it with people.
You can step aboard Air Snipe and approximately 45 other historic ships at the Classic Yacht Rendezvous, which is happening at Bell Harbor Marina on the Seattle waterfront this weekend. This year, the focus is on boats that served in World War II, like the Falcon, which rescued a B-24 bomber crew in 1944. The event is free. Take your dad for Father's Day. If you think lacrosse was invented at a prep school in Connecticut or at a private college in one of those mid-Atlantic states, well, a Tacoma man is setting the record straight with the goal of getting hundreds of Native kids involved in one of America's oldest sports.
Yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go!
Girls whose ancestry dates back many centuries before the founding fathers were born
Nice, nice, nice!
are learning to play a sacred sport known as the Creator's Game.
There's no lacrosse without native lacrosse. Sport doesn't exist without us. So this is your game, it belongs to you.
J.D. Elquist, a member of Alaska's Aleut tribe, is on a mission to reconnect Native youth to a sport invented nearly 1,000 years ago by the Haudenosaunee tribe in what is now New York State.
It's a spiritual thing, and there's a belief in the Haudenosaunee culture that when you play lacrosse, that you're playing to entertain Creator, right? So that's why it's called Creator's Game.
In the 19th century, a Canadian dentist named William George Beers decided to modernize the sport and its rules.
One of those rules was that no Native American could play for a white team.
To counteract such historic exclusion, JD's clinic introduces Native girls to lacrosse with free t-shirts and lacrosse sticks.
We'll start with a smudging ceremony, right, where we light sage and we kind of get in a good way, in a good mindset, and we go out here and we teach the game and we play the game.
You gotta take care of the ball, you gotta take care of it.
Olivia Bean Johnston, a member of the Snoqualmie tribe, is one of the coaches.
You don't have to be a certain person, height, creed, you can play. It's everybody's game, and it's a game that just kind of, I think, is fueled by passion overall.
There's no shortage of passion on this playing field.
Ready, Yo-Yo?
Even 4-year-old Aponi won't stop until she gets the ball in the pocket.
That was something that was new to me, just to see her patience and, you know, scooping up the ball was a moment to see, wow, this is something that she can do on her own, and she did not give up.
The hope is to soon field a traveling team of all Native girls.
And that's what today's about, right? It's about introducing the game, getting them to fall in love with it so they can see themselves in the sport and have the opportunities to continue to play at a high level.
And to take pride in a sport that was created for them.
This weekend, PNW Native Lacrosse is holding a free clinic for First Nations kids in Abbotsford, BC. For news on local clinics, you'll want to follow their Instagram page. And of course, we've got a link to that from our website, king5evening.com. Well, this is the time of year where it pays to look up. You might see blue herons and their babies nesting in trees, even in local parks, like one in Seattle. Photojournalist Diane Lewis-Torrey pays them a visit.
We're at Commodore Park in northern Magnolia, right by the Ballard Locks.
Blue herons.
It's kind of a busy time of year. This is a major nesting area. Interesting to watch. You don't think it's here, but then you look up all of a sudden and then voila, there it is. It's gonna be a loud summer. It often sounds like something out of like Jurassic Park because it's a bunch of pterodactyl noise.
They sure do make a racket.
Clack, 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 clack.
Not bad, Mike.
Not bad.
You better keep your eyes open. There might be one looking out for you.
Yeah.
The herons will be defending their nest from predators. Babies clamoring for food.
Graceful, they're magnificent, and fraternal. They really take care of their young.
They're unusual birds. Large bodies, long skinny legs. Certainly not what you see every day in your backyard. Oh, there's one that's just flying in.
Yep.
It's kind of nice to know that things like this are still here. The Seattle I grew up in has changed and grown a lot.
Boy, look at those two guys.
Just such an amazing experience to have in the city. It's just a special opportunity to see nature at its best. It's just reassuring. Hidden away, so few people know about them. It's a beautiful thing.
Such magnificent birds. Blue heron nests can also be spotted around the Olympia Farmers Market and outside Tacoma along Pioneer Way. Well, one of the busiest food trucks in Western Washington serves pasta, panini, and for dessert, cannoli. What is it called? L'Italiano, of course.
Cooking in a food truck has its constraints, but Rosario Alessio Alonghi is working wonders inside La Italiano.
This is for you, the carbonara, signore.
It's a small Italian restaurant on wheels, inspired by the flavors of his home, Palermo in Sicily.
I love just spending time and making sure that what I'm making, it turns out to be great. Sometimes it doesn't, fair enough, but just like, it's something that you have to have passion about it.
And Rosario is definitely passionate, especially when it comes to his culinary concept. Taking his authentic Italian dishes on the road brings him joy.
The fact that I can move around and I can bring my food and culture, I realized that I love to be in touch with people closely. I felt like a connection with it, and that's when I really clicked in me.
Rosario's dishes are authentically inspired, but some do have an American spin.
There is a lot of people here that do have allergies to nuts. My pesto does not have nuts, which is funny because for me it's a little bit of a backstabbing myself, but to be able to offer my product to a more, a bigger variety of people, I decided to, to just keep it like that.
His signature sandwich also has an Italian-American flair. It has Italian sausage, roasted pepper, onions, and it's finished with a pink sauce. Quite the accomplishment for a guy who didn't plan this path.
Honestly, I've never thought this was gonna be my life when I first came, because I came for fun. I came to visit friends, to, just see the city, and puff, here we are.
On that visit to the U.S., he ultimately found love. Now married and with a toddler in tow, he's enjoying his new life while sharing a flavorful taste of the one that came before.
Let's call it destiny, fate, love at first sight, but that's what it was for me. Let's call it the American dream happened to me. This will be for you. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Rosario works just about every day of the week. Want to try his food? We've got a link to the L'Italiano food truck schedule from our website.
Still to come.
2, 3, there we go.
Get a preview of the Seattle Dragon Boat Festival happening this weekend. But up next, get a peek at the new movie How to Train Your Dragon before it flies into theaters.
Here it comes!
Wow!
Local stories make a difference.
I want to check that out.
With the power to enrich lives, strengthen communities, and make us smile. Evening is made possible by Primera Blue Cross. Primera Blue Cross, always in your corner.
Welcome back to the show from South Lake Union. By raking in more than $300 million, Lilo and Stitch has been the biggest surprise hit of the summer movie season so far. Now there's big anticipation brewing for another live-action remake, this time, How to Train Your Dragon.
Everything we know about dragons is wrong.
For the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon,
okay, action.
The original writer and director, Dean DeBlois, created a new Viking-inspired village on chilly sets in Northern Ireland.
We flew around Iceland and the Faroe Islands and Scotland. You gather all of these amazing locations and you can meld them in any way you want. But the goal is to create a place that people want to be. They want to spend time with your characters.
Hiccup is played by a little-known Texan actor named Mason Thames, who learned over Zoom his life was about to change.
I suppose it's just one question, really, is would you like to play Hiccup in the movie?
Mom, do you hear that?
Mason joins a squad of young wannabe Viking warriors, which includes Nico Parker as Astrid. She says shooting on set not only looked real, it smelled real.
There was a really weird smell on set in the village. We were like, what is that? It smells awful. And they were like, oh, it's the fish hut.
Yeah, they built like a fish house.
And we were like, what do you mean, a fish hut? And we went in and there was like raw fish, rotten, hanging all over the house. And then a fan, blowing it into the village. And we were like, why are you doing this? And they were like, for ambience, for the vibes. And me and Mason were like, turn off the fan. It was horrible.
The reign of the dragons. That's right here, right now.
Gerard Butler, who provided the voice for the clan leader in the original, says the live-action version is more rewarding for audiences and actors.
You're wringing a lot more out of each moment. And again, I just watched it again the other night, and that's what I was thinking. There's story within story within story in every character, in every moment. There's not a moment wasted.
Bringing Toothless to life required a team of 5 puppeteers who tried to replicate the agility of salamanders with the grace of Black Panthers and the personality of your silliest pets.
We would spend all day just searching the internet for the cutest and funniest and oddest cat and dog behaviors and put them into Toothless knowing that we wanted to evoke that kind of reaction from the audience. So if you say, oh, my dog does that, or my cat does that, or my horse does that, then goal accomplished. So we wanted him to both be ferocious, but a big cuddly pet at the same time.
Come on! Here it comes!
How to Train Your Dragon is rated PG-13 and has scored a 78 on Rotten Tomatoes. On the subject of dragons, this weekend we've got the Seattle Dragon Boat Festival. It's happening right out here on Lake Union. What does it take to get ready for the big race? Jose finds out.
Today we are doing one of our last practices before the Seattle Dragon Boat Festival. We've got a big group of folks who are getting excited about the race.
6 is gonna be Elisa and Kalyani.
Lake Union is the home of the Seattle Flying Dragons. We have about 150 members. It's entirely run by volunteers. For the festival, we're gonna have races all day long. Basically a very long, large canoe, 10 benches, 2 people per bench, so 20 paddlers all together. There's a drummer on the front and a steersperson on the back. When you're in those boats, you're super close together and you can hear the paddlers next to you.
1, 2, 3, there we go.
Everyone has to paddle at exactly the same time, and that's really hard to do with 20 people who have competitive spirit. The drummer is supposed to represent the drum beat of the dragon. And this tradition goes all the way back to ancient China. Some will consider it the oldest team sport in the world. It really is a testament. Everyone should come out and try it at least once.
That was tough.
Yeah, first race. Congratulations, you survived.
I survived.
You survived.
All right, thank you, Jose. The Seattle Dragon Boat Festival is free. It happens this Saturday at South Lake Union Park.
Coming up.
This is a good representation of an unsafe camping site.
Planning to go camping in bear country? How to avoid unwelcome visitors.
Welcome back to the show. A few weeks ago, we asked evening viewers to vote for a hometown hero that deserves a brand new 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe. And we have a winner.
Surprise, Dee Dee. You are the Western Washington Hyundai hometown hero.
You picked Dee Dee Ponder, the founder of Wiggle Butts Recovery and Rescue in Olympia. She has saved the lives of hundreds of abandoned dogs and other animals at all hours of the day. Dee Dee says she plans to load her Santa Fe with food and recovery gear. Dee Dee Ponder is our hometown hero. Congratulations to her. If you're planning to go hiking this summer, chances are you're going to be entering bear country. At Northwest Trek, I learned that means there are certain things you are never supposed to do.
These are not the kind of guests you want crashing your camping trip. Black bears Benton and Fern are making a mess of things, but it's not really their fault.
Bears don't seek out humans just because. It's always because there's a food source with them.
The day begins with animal keepers Haley Withers and Carly Cerulli playing Easter bunnies in Northwest Trek's black bear habitat. They're hiding fish in coolers, fresh vegetables in a picnic basket, even marshmallows.
They don't get it often, but when they do, a little sweet treat.
The campsite looks friendly enough, but something is very wrong.
I think this is a good representation of an unsafe camping site. We've got claw marks on the trees. There would be scat in this area. It's a fishing pond.
Fern and Benton are well-fed bears, but their sense of smell is extraordinary, and neither can resist an easy meal. You'd be surprised at what might draw a bear.
Shampoos, deodorants, toothpaste, perfume, anything like that could be an attractant to a bear. If they don't know what that smell is, they might think that it's food.
So you figured you'd snack on some granola bars in the tent. Bad call.
When you're out hiking or backpacking in the wilderness, you always want to make sure that you leave your food in a separate area from your tent.
One way to keep your food safe is to use bear-resistant containers. Grizzly bears Hawthorne and Huckleberry think this is a game.
Our bears are challenged every day to find their food, so they know that if we put something out there that has food in it, if they can figure it out, they're going to get a reward from that.
Hawthorne puts all of his 600 pounds into the effort and eventually breaks through. A wild bear might have given up a long time ago.
They don't want to spend too much energy trying to get into any one thing.
The point of these demonstrations isn't just to keep us safe, but to keep bears safe. A bear that associates food with people usually meets a bad end.
That just leads to bears typically being euthanized, which can be totally prevented.
It's up to us to share the woods responsibly by not sharing our food at all.
We learned that at Olympic National Park, bear-resistant food containers are absolutely mandatory. In fact, they will even loan them out to hikers.
After the break, find out where you can explore 6 secret gardens this weekend. Now in our 39th season, Evening shares local stories that make our community shine. Thanks to support from PEMCO Insurance. PEMCO empowers the Northwest to prevent the preventable. Learn how at PEMCO.com.
And that is going to do it for us from aboard Air Snipe. Remember, you can visit this boat and 45 other historic boats at the Classic Yacht Rendezvous, which is happening at Bell Harbor Marina on the Seattle waterfront this weekend. We're going to leave you with the sights from one of the 6 beautiful secret gardens of Lake Forest Park, which you can explore this Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.